post. We got some laser engraving going on the front of the Mad Hatter logo, which is really, really cool looking with the way the copper is on this one and the black. And of course, the famous feature that we've come to know from the Mad Hatter is the flip top cap design. Really cool feature with that. We got engraved logo and serial number on the deck since these are authentic. We have a copper 510 pin, which is non-adjustable. We have adjustable dual airflow control on this one, and you could run this one in single coil mode or dual coil mode. And I believe the original version, you can only run it in dual coil mode. And also the airflow, just like the original one, comes in from underneath the coil. So like I said, you get the maximum amount of vapor and flavor out of these. And last but not least, did I already mention it? No, this one has the spitback protection guard built in to the top cap. Now, like I was saying, an issue with a lot of these mini RDAs that are coming out lately, these companies are pretty much just like shrinking down the top caps, and they're not really doing much of anything else. And when that drip tip is sitting like right above that positive post, you're more than likely gonna get spit back. And a lot of these mini RDAs, you know, they have these wide bore drip tips, so they're pretty much just asking for spit back. Now, I think one or two RDAs I think I've seen, mini RDAs, they come supplied with these little like mesh screens. I do have one mini RDA that's coming up for review later this week or next week, and it's a nice little RDA. Don't get me wrong, I like it, but it has one major downfall, is that it has a horrible problem with spitback. But they do include like a little mesh screen and that you kind of just push into the drip tip. But the problem with that is the screen is like so fine, it kind of really takes away the flavor and the vapor. It gets rid of the spitback problem, but it totally, it kind of just takes away, it makes the vapor completely different, and it completely robs the flavor. Now, with the Mad Hatter Mini, they do have a guard in place, and it doesn't alter the flavor or the vapor. So I really like the way the Mini is doing the spitback protection on this one. So that's one major, main important feature that the Mad Hatter Mini has, and that's also a main feature that you guys have to look out for when you're buying these mini RDAs. If they don't have spitback protection, or if they're using like a cheap little mesh screen for their spitback protection, chances are it's not going to be a good vape. I can tell you that right now, it's not going to be a good vape. So, I mean, that's pretty much one thing I wanted to cover with these mini RDAs, because the Mad Hatter does a really good job at preventing it, all right? So with all that said, let's stop talking, let's stop spitting back, and let's dive down, let's get up close and personal with the Mad Hatter Mini, all right? All right, guys, here we are up close and personal with the Mad Hatter Mini by Advkin. Comes in a nice little tin presentation box. Open up the box. We have your Mad Hatter Mini. And then we get a bag of spares. Let's check out this bag of spares. We do get replacement O-rings. We get some coils, post screws, and we do get a replacement hinge. So if the hinge happens to go bad or breaks on the top cap, we do have a replacement right there. All right, so here is the Mad Hatter Mini. Let's do a quick overall look on the outside. I love this black and copper finish. It just looks awesome. Out of all the finishes, this one is by far my favorite one. Not like a huge fan of copper on the inside, but it doesn't bother me because this thing just looks really cool. Before we start, I just want to show you guys the Mini up against the full-size one. As you can see, the design has changed a little bit on the drip tip portion. Everything else pretty much remains the same. Of course, the size is much different, and the Mini now can do single coils, where the original could only do dual coils. All right, so let's start with the drip tip. It does come with a really nice mini size shorty Delrin drip tip. We got dual O-rings, holds it nice and firmly in place, or you can just use this section as your drip tip if you prefer. And I do believe it comes with an adapter so that you can use all your standard 510 drip tips. As you can see, a standard 510 drip tip doesn't fit in there, and it also doesn't fit into the drip tip portion, all right? I do believe that Avkin did tell me that the final products are shipping with an adapter, but I can't really confirm it at the moment. I will contact them, I will find out for sure, and I will put a note in the video to let you guys know. All right, and then the main feature of the Mad Hatter, which we're all so familiar with, is the flip top cap design. So it flips open, and this one actually has a nice little click when you close it, which is a real nice added touch. The first version, you had to really lube up the O-rings to get it to seal, but this one has a nice click to it. And then underneath the top cap, you could see there is the spit back protection guard. Now this is the correct way to have a spit back protection guard. I really do much prefer this design over the cheap mesh screens that some of these RDAs use that you just pop in with your finger and pop out, because the mesh screens are so fine. You know, it's hard for the vapor to travel through them. You lose flavor, you lose vapor production. They get all gunked up, all clogged up. This design is just much more desirable. The holes are much larger, but they're not large enough to where the e-liquid is going to spit through and, you know, get inside your mouth. This spit back protection guard actually does work, and it does not do anything to the flavor or the vapor output. We do have a single O-ring going along the top cap right here, and you can see it's a little bit of a wider O-ring, kind of like wide and flat. So I think this style O-ring is more designed for the see how it snaps into place like that. So I think that O-ring is more designed for doing that, as opposed to the, you know, the standard O-rings that we the round ones that we always see. And then here's your hinge over here. And, you know, just like the version 1, I've never once had a problem with the hinge. I thought for sure the hinge on here would not last that long or would break, but I've been using mine since the review, the version 1, and never once had to replace my hinge. You do get a spare hinge, like I said, if you do damage this one. All right, so let me pop this onto a mod so I can show you guys how the AFC works. AFC is pretty, you know, self-explanatory. All you do is you just spin the top cap and adjust it to your desired opening. Now, as you can see, we do have 3 holes on the top cap, and that pretty much indicates that this will do single coil and dual coil. So at the moment, it's set up for dual coil, so I have that hole open and that hole open, and then just as you turn the top cap, you could close off the air hole as much as you like, and then the same goes for that side.